Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much, everyone, for this great discussion today. I do want to point out we still have the Clean Water Act, and I hope that within that act we're not allowed to dump pollutants willy-nilly. I think what we're talking about right now is the expanded definition of waters of the U.S., not the original Clean Water Act. So I hope we're protecting our citizens without that expanded definition. I think that's what we're dealing with today. Mr. Joslin, as part of the propaganda campaign that the Government Accountability Office found to be illegal, the Obama EPA tried to get people to believe that unless they regulate ephemeral water, which by definition is a stream that flows only briefly during and following a period of rainfall, so essentially rainwater runoff, that the drinking water of 117 million people would be at risk. Mr. Kaposis and Mr. O'Mara repeat this claim in their testimony. EPA put up a map on their website to support this claim, and this is this chart right here. However, if you read EPA's summary of the analysis, which is, of course, buried on a different web page than this map, you find out that EPA based this claim on a study of streams that are visible at medium resolution, which is what you see behind me. At this scale, you are only going to see major streams. Does a study of those major streams at that scale have anything to do with ephemeral streams?
Thank you, Senator. In response to your question, the map scale was about 100,000 scale. You know, when I was a Boy Scout, I used 7.5-minute quadrangle maps, and they have a scale of 24,000. So the scale is quite large, so that is a problem with that. Also, the database that they use, that I'm very familiar with, the NHD database plus, that database really only maps perennial and intermittent streams. In fact, the definition that they use is any stream that flows more than after immediate rainfall. Ephemeral streams are defined as streams which flow only after rainfall. So the NHD database that they used ignores those kinds of features. So the study really, although provides useful information, it's not accurate in its conclusion.
Yes, thank you very much. And Mr. Saitlin, as a legal matter, is it correct to say that EPA has to regulate ephemeral streams to protect drinking water?
Absolutely not. And also with regard to the drinking water point in particular, of course, federal law outside of the Clean Water Act, the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act, is the primary federal protection. I believe that the focus on drinking water is part of that GAO found illegal propaganda campaign, right, which was meant to drum up illegally, again, support for the WOTUS rule.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Saitlin, the Obama EPA claimed that farmers did not need to worry about the WOTUS rule because it exempted, quoting, ordinary farming activities from permits. Are you familiar with the Duarte case in California?
I am.
In that case, the Corps and the Department of Justice claimed that a farmer needed a permit to plow his own land because the tops, again, okay, right here, the tops of the plowed furrows dry out in the sun and constitute, and no jokes, folks, mini mountain ranges. Many mountain ranges. So plowing doesn't qualify as an ordinary farming activity. My farmers would beg to differ. Here is a picture of those mountain ranges from the report written by DOJ's expert witness. I guess under this definition, Iowa is one of the most mountainous states in the United States. What is left of the ordinary farming exemptions if you can't even plow your own soil?
You're exactly right, Senator, and that's exactly the danger of expanding the jurisdictional reach of the Clean Water Act. This is why, which is what the WOTUS rule tries to do, which is why the American Farm Bureau and the Wisconsin Farm Bureau and farm bureaus all over the country opposed very strongly the WOTUS rule.
Yes, and by these definitions, the entire expanded definition, 97% of the state of Iowa is regulated by that expanded definition and considered waters of the U.S. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.